It is 6 o'clock. We have 4 of us here. Wonderful. Thank you guys for coming. We have a quorum, so we just call the meeting to order. 6 o'clock on the dot. It is June 16th. First order of business is public comment. We have nobody here, so we'll move to the next order of business, the approval of the May meeting minutes, which Mr. Mann sent out about a month ago.
I think I read it, but and again, I could have read it and it went in one eye and out the other.
Well, you saw nothing amiss, right?
I don't think, I wasn't here for the last meeting.
Right.
I'm looking at it online.
Hi, Karen.
The problem, that was the second Monday,
Yes, because we shifted it.
because the
Yeah,
second
yeah, we
Monday
shifted it.
is always American Legion.
Yeah.
Hi there, how you doing?
I'm doing,
Well, that's good to be
What
doing.
is doing?
you know, I went on to check to make sure the meeting in my laptop. 3 times I went on, it wouldn't recognize my password. And so then I said,
Frustrating.
well, the heck with it. So I put it down,
Yeah,
about a half an hour, picked it up, did it again, got right.
and it worked.
You gotta love
I hate
technology.
computers.
You needed to
That's
walk
why
away.
I hate it.
Oh.
I know, I feel the
They're
same.
evil.
Oh, it's frustrating. It's
Oh.
just so frustrating. Although you're a real tech queen, we know that. Isn't that what you do?
Well, I do healthcare IT.
Okay,
I
Okay.
support a lot of various
awesome.
things that I'm not really responsible for, but we do fix them.
you do?
So
Well,
yeah,
that's
so I
great.
play tech support
Was it-
for my dad all day long. Yeah, so yeah, maybe I
So
do.
you're
I
knowledgeable.
notice
Yeah,
sash
that's
on the
great.
crown.
Mhm.
Okay, Karen, we were just on
I'm sorry.
the approval,
I'm
no
sorry.
worries. Approval of the May meeting minutes.
Okay.
If you had a chance to
I
look at them.
did,
and-
I did.
okay.
They seem fine
They
to me.
seem fine.
Didn't
Right.
They
John,
look good
did
to
you
me.
just
They-
send them out to my email address, or is it some kind of secret thing that you send out?
I think he put it on.
I think I sent it to both your email
both the
addresses that I
emails,
have.
the J-
I will tell you in one
JD
second.
Luger.
Un momento.
Oh, checking it.
It went to Karen, Laura, me, John here,
So-
John Comcast.
What was the
Deb
day
Paul.
it was sent?
Probably. John's very efficient.
It
Day or
was
two
on
after.
5.
That John is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wednesday, May 14th at
Alright,
11:48
so that's 2 days
a.m.
11:48, not 49.
No, 11:48. Oh no, I got the timestamp right here. We will not question that.
There you go.
I'll fight you on
What was
that.
it?
Oh, arm wrestling, yeah.
It was May what?
14th,
Check it.
and it went to both your emails,
And
so.
it'll be on the website as
Both
soon
my
as we-
emails?
Well, he sent it to your toll, the Town of Londonderry boards,
Oh.
and your
And-
personal. So you either got,
Comcast email.
Yeah.
you must have a rule in there that says anything from John Mann delete.
And you would be one of many people that has that. People are discarding my words all over the place.
Is that right? Oh.
So,
I would never do that intentionally.
They look fine to
Okay.
me, so I
So-
will, can I make a
Motion?
motion to accept them?
I second.
Okay.
Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And minutes are approved. Excellent. The next thing I have on the agenda was cleanup successes. I just wanted to highlight that we had, I think, a great cleanup that happens in May, even though we did have to push it a week and had a rain date.
Yeah.
We ended up having, really good turnout, a lot of bags. And then just this past Saturday, the football team.
Yeah, I
had
saw them. They were on Pillsbury.
You know, some guys went down Pillsbury. We ended up, we had 72 kids.
Really?
So it was good, and coaches and some folks to support us. And they got 60 odd bags of stuff. Plus,
Wow.
I took a ride, Karen was there the whole time. I took a ride down, I sent them, there was a citizen talked about the road behind Staples. And there's that might be a private
Yeah,
way.
that was Ray, wasn't it?
Ray, yeah.
Yes,
But you
yeah,
know what?
yeah.
He was right. I took a
That's
look
great.
at it.
Oh,
It
really?
was unbelievable. And they pulled a mountain out of that place. They pulled so many
Wow,
things
great.
that they ran out of bags when they were bagging over there. So they just made a big pile. So it was good, and the boys kind of worked right through the rain, so it was fun. But
Jeez. So,
that's-
do we know how many people we actually had?
Yes, I have that number in a spreadsheet, and I don't recall it right now, but
I mean, approximate?
yeah, so it was the day that we did it, I don't remember now.
Quite a few.
35 maybe. Yeah, let's see if I can pull the file. About 35, but so with the football team helping, it would be about 100 volunteers. Plus, we should start to add in, people who are going out with the library. There was a church group that went out, the Orchard Christian.
Orchard, yeah.
Their youth group went out for one of their torch nights. So yeah, it's been really.
So you would consider it a great success?
I think it's been a great success.
Let me tell you about one,
Anyway.
when I lifted it up at the American Legion, because most of the people there are older. And the fellow who's the adjutant, he responded, and he went down Gilcrest and then went on South Road. He could not believe how bad it was. I had no idea. And all he did is thank me for asking, for lifting it up. And he says, when do you do it again? I said, October. He says, don't forget to let me know.
That's great.
But
That's
he
wonderful.
could
That's
not
right.
believe how bad it is.
Yeah.
And I checked some of the areas where I know some of the people went, and one of the fellows from the gym, and he did that part, where you go on Pillsbury and you turn, and then
Yes.
it comes into
Yes. Yep.
Gilcrest.
Yeah.
He picked up all that part on the side. He did that in the morning, and in the afternoon, there was already trash there.
Wow.
It
I
was-
saw him twice. I happened to have my grandkids. We were going back and forth, and the kids were yelling out the window, "Thank you, nice job!" And he picked up a lot of stuff. He had bags
He's a
and bags.
great,
That was
he's a
great.
great guy.
Yeah.
By the way, the other thing, the remaining ice cream cone things for Max, I passed those out to the football players.
Okay.
Oh, good.
I was
Good.
gonna ask
Great.
you, did you have enough? Or
No, but
is
that's
it-
okay. I gave them to the coach. I said,
Okay.
you have 72 kids. I have 48 ice cream
Okay.
cones. You work it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, not my problem.
He'll come up with
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
It was maybe whoever showed up with a bag at the end got the thing.
Right, right.
We had, what we usually, when we split these kids up, we put one kid, sort of the team staff captain or whatever of each group. And he picked them out. He picked out,
Oh, good.
you were here first and early, good for you, Lombardi time, you get to be a captain. So,
That's
and those
great.
kids' primary responsibility is make sure the other kids don't goof around, get in the middle of the street and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So, but we also had maybe 4 or 5 chaperones, I think.
Yeah.
It was good.
Really?
That was
It good.
nice.
Yeah, so that worked out good. And the coach himself, he's the athletic director now,
And he
who
brought
also
his
went
two
out.
boys, or I'm assuming they were his two boys?
That, I think he's an assistant coach.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
the other
got
fellow
it.
is the,
Okay.
I think that's true.
I know that,
Great.
that one particular place there on High Range that I kept on seeing, it was so terrible. Just past Doug Johnson, that got cleaned up. And I saw other areas that were really bad.
Yeah, High
And
Range
I
there are
noticed
quite a
they got
few.
cleaned up,
Yeah,
and I said, yes.
yeah.
Great.
Well,
Yeah.
so we've put now, we added 2 more kits to the library, so now they have 4
Oh, nice.
kits. Yeah, so that's been going pretty good. And so that'll maybe even during the course of the year, if somebody is feeling inspired and they want to go over and do it right, and all that stuff will continue to go out the door. And then I texted back and forth with Kirsten today, and she was going to talk to the new town manager
Okay.
this afternoon about
Right.
the display here. So we'll see where that goes.
Okay.
So I just have a
Great.
question. So if somebody was to go to the library and take a kid out and collect trash, they'd just leave their bag wherever they're working, and then they notify Beautify
DPW.
Londonderry or DPW?
There's in each kit is a laminated card that tells them what to do.
Okay.
Oh.
And they have a choice of either notifying DPW, and I've got all the contact phone
Oh,
numbers in
okay.
there, or it can go in their regular trash at home, because you can't recycle
Oh, okay,
that stuff.
okay, so there's.
So, yeah, so if somebody has room in their regular trash, they can
Sure.
just put it in there. If they don't want to, or maybe it's too far, they can just make them out.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
great,
so,
great.
you know what, Erin over at the library, who's the director of it, was great helping me set up that card so that we had everything anybody would ever need
Excellent.
to know.
Good.
There's even a little QR code on it if they want to learn more about Beautify
Oh,
Londonderry.
wow, excellent.
That's great.
Every bit
Excellent.
helps, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, every little bit helps. So, speaking of our fall, I didn't put that on here, but we should keep that in mind. I'm gonna talk about that round table, if we can just kind of maybe set a date or just tentatively look at the calendar and, set a date at the end. Next, fundraising. John, you've been working diligently with Justin,
Yeah.
on getting us set up with PayPal and, a letter, so.
As far as Justin is concerned, this letter's got his blessing.
Great.
Oh, good,
Um,
good to know.
And if there's like small changes and stuff, we can certainly do those.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, right?
If somebody doesn't like the way something is written or something, we can change that.
Yeah.
So the bottom of the page is sort of where the big changes were. So they can send donation checks to, and we've given them a fairly long address to send the checks to, okay?
Nice.
There's they can make a PayPal donation, and if you scan that code, it'll take you to the Beautify Londonderry PayPal section.
Okay.
And then I think Justin and I both learned at the same time, I think PayPal owns Venmo, or Venmo owns PayPal, or whatever. So if they go to that site, I believe they have an option
Okay.
to pay with
Oh, great.
Venmo or
Okay.
PayPal, so that works, okay?
What is Justin's official title?
He's the money man for the town, I don't know.
Financial manager?
Yeah, I forget what his actual title is, but.
Well,
Now, did everything get cleared with the situation concerning the warrant article and everything?
Yes,
Is that's
good.
all set?
That's all set.
So you probably addressed that?
We can raise money now for something we wanna do next year.
Okay.
We still have to wait until next year. If we get enough money, we can't, come September, we can't say, okay, we're gonna replace the signs now. We still have to wait until next year to
What do you
replace
mean,
them.
wait till next year?
Because of the vote, that went through.
I mean,
We
we
have to
can't
wait
solicit
one-
these people till
We
next
No,
year?
no.
No, we can solicit them, we can raise all the money, hold the money, and then in July of 2026, we
We can use it?
Yeah, we can use
Excuse
it, yeah.
That whole thing seems weird to me.
That's okay though,
It's illegal,
if,
yeah.
if something came up in the interim, like a sign got damaged or really started to fall apart, we have some money, we could fix it and then reimburse ourselves through whatever the fundraising is. So that we're not necessarily precluded. I mean, all along, even if that warrant article had passed, I think we were gonna end up using some of the money we had on hand anyways,
Yeah. Mhm.
for the whole thing, so.
Mhm.
Now, how many, is there 7 signs?
Five.
Five.
It's 5 signs.
Now, how many do you think have to be replaced?
I'm hoping none of them, but I'm a little worried about the one on the north side of the Mammoth Road up there. That one looks really rough. I mean, it's delaminating, the
Matt,
wood is.
where is that one now?
It's, you know, if you keep going north on Mammoth Road, you'll hit an area where there's a bunch of construction vehicles it used to be called the Yard Restaurant. I don't know.
Oh, way up there,
Yeah, I
okay.
don't know, it's called, what's it called now?
Backyard.
Backyard Brewery. And so it's up, that one is probably the worst shape of all.
So we have 5, maybe one has to be replaced, and the other ones hopefully can be repaired.
Yes, but repairing them involves taking them down, taking them to the shop. You know, it's not an easy thing. I got the impression that he'll make an evaluation. Repairing them may end up being stripping them all the way down and redoing them. Okay, just preserving the wood and all that.
Did you find someone you feel is responsible to do this?
We found the original guy.
Oh, the original, he's still,
The original guy, yeah.
but he's up north somewhere, right?
Well, John's looked around, so this was months ago, but John did some hunting around, and there was nobody else who was.
I know you did.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, so, but he'll do it. As a matter of fact, they just reached out to me to get an update, and I said, you know, we can't really do anything until after next July 1. So,
But we can raise the money.
Yep.
yeah, if we raise the money.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
so that'll be sort of the next thing. So, so you know, we'll see where things go. Does anybody want to take a look at this, and maybe if you need anything changed?
Did they give you this QR code and you pasted it in here, because it's not working? So either, and when I just looked at it, it looks like it's cut off at the bottom,
You're right.
and I don't know I don't know QR codes, how they're developed, but I don't know if this is supposed to have another square in the bottom right, and that's missing, or if
You know
it's
what?
just cut off.
Oh,
'Cause
and it
it
may have
doesn't-
been the way I ran it through a copy machine, so I have it.
It worked.
Okay.
It did work for me.
It did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, it doesn't work for me.
Oh, well,
Hmm.
Could it be
should
that
work.
your copy's the same or slightly different?
They look the same, and then I went into PayPal and even turned on my camera to scan with PayPal directly, and
And
it
it
doesn't
didn't.
work for me.
It worked.
And what, are you, just
I
with your
said
camera?
donation to Beautify. Yeah, just with my camera.
Really? That's
Yeah.
bizarre. Can I see your paper?
Yeah.
I just wanna try another
Yeah,
paper, cause that's,
yeah,
you know.
perfect.
You know what, it just didn't work for me either, so.
Do you guys have iPhones?
Yes.
Yeah,
What do you
I have
Samsung?
a Google Chrome, so.
Like
Just
a,
saying it's better. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. It could be a
is
setting
it
on the
is it a Samsung
Uh,
or is it
no,
a,
it's a
oh, it's a
Goo- it's a
Google, like a
Pixel, yeah.
Pixel, okay, and it could be that it's not iPhone compatible.
Did it work with Joyce?
No,
No.
it did not, and that's why I wanted to try another copy,
I
just in
will,
case,
I will fix
but,
that, guys. I believe I created that QR code, if I remember right. You know, some of this stuff is so long ago.
Yeah, yeah.
But I believe I created that, and it does look a little cut off in this picture, so maybe it didn't photocopy well. But I'll take care of it.
So the last sentence here, so we're not a 501c3 type of thing, and
Right, but there's some paperwork we got from Justin that basically says everybody has to look and check with their own
that's what
accountant.
he said.
regarding
he got
tax
something from-
deductibility, it
from
says
the
it right
feds.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Most donations to government type things, which we are now,
Yeah.
okay, are tax deductible. But whether you could take advantage of them or not, it depends on your own accounting situation.
Okay.
Okay, you know, a lot of times you have to have a certain number of dollars or
Oh.
something devoted to that, so.
All right.
Does it matter if the logo says volunteer 2023 or not matter?
Where are you seeing this?
Right here, here.
What paper is that? Oh,
Oh, yep. I can. So we have we have one. Yep, it does. I think it does. We have one that
Good
does not
catch.
have that
Good
on there.
catch. Can
at
you
all.
send that
Yep.
to me?
Yep.
Okay, I'll fix that, that's easy.
What is it, the volunteer 2023?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I'll
is that
check
supposed to
the
be
keyword
out
code.
of that logo then?
Yes, and we
It should
have
be
one.
blank, you have one logo.
We have
for-
one that's blank, yep.
Okay.
So that's
All right.
fine, yep. That's just
So,
saying.
so the
Good.
thing
Good catch,
is,
Karen.
Yeah, that was
to
very
get the
good.
QR thing correct, and then when that's done and we get this sheet, we can go out and talk to them. And if they wanna donate, they just go on to that QR.
If they want to do it that way, or they can give us a check. Okay,
Oh.
the big, that's what the thing on the.
Oh,
on
okay,
the-
down, oh, I see, so
Okay.
that's either or.
Yeah, so, and you can accept the check, or they can mail the check, that doesn't matter, okay? We just can't touch any cash.
So what did they make the check out to?
Right there, Beautify
It's right
Londonderry,
Beautify
care of
Londonderry.
Finance Department, Town of London.
Oh, just the whole.
No,
the way
that's
it's
where they
written there?
send it to.
Wow.
It's probably made out to Town of Londonderry.
Yes, I would say that's probably right, Town of Londonderry. I
That's-
should know that, I paid my taxes today, I write everything out.
So did we.
Um,
And weeped.
do we have a list of previous sponsors?
We
for
do,
this?
we do,
Only
I didn't include it
because-
in this, but I had included it in previous,
It would be
previous
good to know
minutes.
up front, like if you were going to
Right.
somebody that was a previous sponsor, you could say, oh, I know you were in the past, or so though they don't say, well, I've already donated and
Right.
turn you away.
right.
That, just have it in your back
Yeah.
pocket, you know?
The sponsors that have signs up next to the, coming into town now, are from 2010.
Mhm.
Okay, so, some of them
Are they
are,
all, every sponsor is guaranteed they're on a sign somewhere?
yes,
Okay.
okay.
Not that I'm gonna be able to catch that.
Well, but, you know, some of them are actually not around anymore,
Mhm.
as you'd expect.
Right.
From 2010, so, but
Oh,
we'll figure
15
that out.
years ago. Yikes.
It's a long time.
What will the sponsor sign say in case they might ask?
I'm sorry?
What will the sponsor say?
Just
Well,
their
Their
name,
name.
Yeah.
it's just
If you
just
look
their
at the
name.
picture, John,
Yeah,
there's some
Oh,
sponsored
it's gonna be
signs
like-
on the
just
bottom.
like these.
Yeah.
Just like those,
yeah.
okay?
So the check made out to the town of Londonderry, not Beautify Londonderry?
Yeah, Town of London.
Okay,
They can mail it the other way, but if they make the
Okay.
check out to Town of Londonderry, that's
Okay.
better.
Just town of Londonderry,
And you
that's
know
it?
what? Maybe I should put that. See checks made out to Town of Londonderry.
Yes.
and mail
And
to,
they should probably put in so made out to
The
Town
memo.
of Londonderry and then put in the memo.
Beautify
outline
Londonderry.
Beautify Londonderry signs.
Okay, I'll get that.
Yeah,
And make it easy and no problems.
yeah, yeah, nice and clear. This is how you
right,
do it.
right.
You know, it's so strange, I had to write my checks out for, because I did my cars today
Mhm.
and I couldn't, I never write checks anymore. I couldn't even remember how to write checks.
What do you put
I
where? Yeah.
screwed up one of them and she helped me out when I got here. I said,
And she's going, wow, this old guy, maybe we should check his license.
that's true. She did check my license. Was that why?
That is it.
Okay, any other things that we see on the letter?
Okay, I will make those changes. I'll look for the logo change. So that's easy. I'll fix that over there and I'll check the QR code and see what's going on with that.
So how will we get copies?
I'll email everybody.
Email 'em?
Yeah, John, I'll send yours by Pony Express, I think.
And I bet we could ask, for some to be printed here and pick up here, right?
The forms,
The letters.
Oh, yeah.
The letters,
Yeah, as a
right?
matter of
I mean,
fact,
yeah,
what I was gonna do,
yeah.
could we
If-
put
if
some of
this
the
is
kids in the
final-
library?
maybe I'll get them to run me
Yeah.
copies of these.
Oh, yeah, that would be
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
And that way you go in,
Yeah,
you have a
that's-
brochure and you have,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
you have the
great.
cover, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm
Wonderful.
99% sure they can do color copies here. so.
Yeah, great.
Right,
So-
can we include this,
Okay.
and is the flyer in the cleanup kits that people check out?
No, it's not
I'm just
right now.
wondering, why couldn't we put this,
I think that's a hell of an idea. I
just
think-
why not include it as a,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, we can absolutely put, that's actually a great idea. Okay.
Okay, so now for the plan, how are we gonna attack? Divide and conquer. We had put in, and please, not everybody has to go do this. I know that there are some of us that do not feel comfortable at all. This is not our strong suit. So,
Unless it's somebody that I know.
I just can't wait.
right,
You know,
right,
like,
yeah,
there's a few of my suggestions that I would not have a problem
right.
reaching out to. But on the other hand, I'm not a salesperson.
Yeah, neither am I. That's for sure. But we do have someone with experience,
Well,
who you had mentioned
we
in
can-
person,
we-
right?
when-
Is the-
I think, we had, and I think we have maybe in the notes, or maybe you have it in your notes, we had some targets
Yes.
that were suggested.
Yeah, they're right here.
They're right here.
Alright,
So,
good.
yeah, we can, yeah.
Okay, and, we can, some of those, we may wanna just mail stuff to, some of those, somebody can physically visit them, so, and we can whack that up however you want.
I know, the American Legion has been, people will come and they'll make a motion that we give, I can talk to the commander
Okay.
about this, and,
Is there a board or something, John, that?
yeah, there is a board.
Mhm.
But the next meeting, again, it's the second Monday of each month. So
Okay.
this month has
So
already
it's
gone
right,
by.
right.
But I can talk to them to
Mhm.
see, and they've been donating to certain things in town and the
Mhm.
Boys State and all that stuff. And a number of things, some kind of recognition for the top policemen and firemen in the town they're gonna do. They do all those kind of things.
Yeah.
So, maybe you'd get 200 or 300, but I don't know that you'd get any more than that.
Right.
Maybe I could push them for
But,
5.
I mean, anything is.
Everything's, would be
Yes,
great. But you
yeah.
know what, and if you need a presentation made to the board, we can do that. Okay, it could be 2 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, whatever you need.
I think, and they know me, I'm not a member of the board, but I do attend all the meetings.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people, and I know that a number of people on the board,
Mhm.
and the commander, and the vice commander are good friends, so, and the adjutant, so I think we could persuade them. Now, the
So that's
Berkshire
wonderful.
Hathaway one, I've already talked to a fellow at the gym who's a realtor there, and he said he would come in and take me personally to meet the
Oh,
people
great.
that I need to meet.
Yeah.
And this
wonderful.
I told him, I says, you're a realtor, you wanna have people feel welcome to come to
Yeah.
Londonderry, this is
Mhm.
right up your alley.
Mhm.
And he says, you're right.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there.
Okay,
And
that's great.
and they do things, along these kind of lines, so
Wonderful.
I've just been waiting to get the clearing to be able to do it.
Okay, great.
The other ones, I don't know, we'll see.
Okay.
Well, you know what, the step one on the other ones is get the right address and the best you can, who's the contact, who's the
Yeah.
primary
The
person.
Chamber of Commerce, I talked to Dr. Lundgren. He was at one time the president of the Chamber of Commerce. He isn't anymore. And I asked him who it is, and he says, I don't know, you have to go online. And my contact probably with the Rotary would be the pastor of Londonderry Christian, because he's been involved with Rotary. So, but Hannaford's, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well,
Okay.
Hannaford, if you wanna pass that one over, I shop there sometimes, so I can
I do
just
on occasion.
look for the store manager and say, who do we talk to about this kind of stuff?
You don't know him or anything?
You know what, I used to know, I don't know him anymore, it's been too many years, he used to be a motorcycle guy, so, I don't know if he's around anymore.
Are you a motorcycle guy?
God, no. God, no.
Room, no?
No. No. My wife doesn't think I'm a car guy anymore, But if you want, that's probably a knock on the door, get a name, and I think they're headquartered over in the eastern part of the state, like Greenland or something
Oh,
like that,
jeez.
where Hannaford is, so.
I mean, you can't go to the local Hannaford?
Well, no, I would go to the local Hannaford, but that's probably when we'd end up doing a mail-in too,
You think
because
so?
they'd be.
They'll tell you who the corporate
Or-
office is for
Yeah.
handling that stuff.
Yeah.
Or talk to
Yeah.
the local and they'll say, well, send it over to Greenland,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let them know.
Yeah, they just see, and sometimes they'll know somebody and they'll put in a word for you, and
Yeah.
it depends. I mean, Staples was just in the Londonderry Times for helping out, I think it was vets in the town, and they mentioned the store manager's name over at Staples, and it sounded like they have some money to do local projects and things of that sort. So it's just having them select your project. So.
Sometimes we ran into this before, like going to banks and stuff like that, and they say, oh, you're gonna have to contact headquarters, which means nothing. They can't do anything locally.
Actually, John, I gotta tell you something. They can't do anything locally, but that contact headquarters stuff discourages a lot of people, and you'd be surprised sometimes.
If you follow through on it,
a letter, you're not gonna.
Right.
At our
Get a
state,
phone call.
Yeah, you're not gonna get a
No.
phone call through, and you're not going to drive to hell and beyond to find out where they are. But sometimes
that works, yeah.
Yeah, you
Didn't
can
think of
you can
that.
get it. You can get a hit.
Because everybody gives up, and the ones that are persistent win.
Yeah. Okay, so are you all comfortable leaving it with, at least for the ones that you gave, you suggested? John, I don't have any for you on here.
I will find some.
You're gonna go where you need to go.
Yeah.
Karen, would you mind just getting names and do you feel comfortable doing that?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
good?
yeah,
Okay,
sure.
awesome.
I'll email it to you.
And then the list that I've got here, I feel comfortable going or contacting them. And I'll take on Benson's and Mr. Steer as well. And then, so John L., you've got the top, at least getting, so American Legion, Berkshire Hathaway, you've contacts already. Rotary and Chamber of Commerce, at least finding out who the contacts are for that.
A Rotary,
that'd be
I have
great.
initial contact, but
Okay.
I don't know that he's the go-to person.
Yeah.
Usually, you want to get as high up in the organization.
Oh, yeah.
So a president or
Right.
something like that, or a chair. Maybe Rotary's got a chair. I don't
The
know.
top person.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
that's sort of where you start, and frankly, on some of them, I mean, they're just people. Okay, so a lot of these folks, you can send something like this as an introductory letter if you wanted to,
Yeah.
and then for the ones that are locally based, you can just follow up on the phone.
I think, isn't the Rotary combined with, or is that Chamber of Commerce is with Derry?
Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, because Rotary does a lot of community projects. So
Right.
while you're speaking to Rotary in this, I wonder if there was a way to get Rotary involved in a cleanup or like a road.
Sponsor a road.
Because they do community projects. That's their whole thing is community serving above self. So I wonder if maybe they could sponsor, the Rotary would have their own cleanup day with their members that would actually go out and do it if we could incorporate that. Because they do, I don't know about our Rotary. I have a girlfriend who's been in Rotary in Kansas City. That's how I'm familiar. I'm like, I'm not talking to my Rotary. She'd go, you should join. And I'm like, wouldn't be in the same Rotary group, no. But it's something to think about because they do projects where they're making beds for children that
Sure.
don't have beds or things. So
Yeah.
this might be something they could sponsor their own cleanup.
Yeah.
day.
Rotary,
Right.
by the way, is one of the sponsors from the past for the.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, see, there we go, we're
If you
pointing
look at that
in.
little picture there in the corner, you'll see your name on the sponsor sign, so.
I gotta
So
use the
I-
right, oh yes, they're the top dog there.
Rotary Club of London.
There it is.
Yeah, so they had got involved with us in the past, so.
I know Gary Stewart said Continental Paving was a big contributor in the past.
They were not one of the sign, they're not one of the businesses on the signs currently,
They might
so.
have, they might
I
have just
don't-
donated
yeah,
to us.
yeah.
Because we used to
Yeah.
put, anybody that donated, we used to have a sign out. Our secretary would get it and it would, you know,
Like a
thank you,
banner.
sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So keeping in mind that, you know, if you really hit somebody that wants to give us $200, okay, we won't be able to put their name on
Yeah.
the thing,
Right.
but we'll put it in, we can put it into the general fund for Beautify Londonderry, and we're gonna end up paying for some of the sign work anyways at the end of the day,
Right.
so, you know, we can just about take any amount.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
In the London, in this past Londonderry Times, I don't know what the event was for, but they were listing their sponsors, platinum level sponsors, or one of the ads, I can't remember which one it was.
Could have been.
Was it the South School thing? I
I
thought I
don't-
read it for the South School.
Or was it the concert on the Commons, maybe? 'Cause-
Oh,
Concert on the
maybe,
Commons, and
yeah.
they talked about their
Yeah,
sponsor
yeah.
levels. So I think we should, at some point, maybe as we're getting some of these sponsors, then start advertising, putting a little blurb in there. Beautify Londonderry likes to welcome their latest platinum sponsor, da-da-da-da-da. You know, just be a little blurb, but as we get sponsors, let them
like
start
that.
seeing their name,
That's a great idea.
you know?
If we
Would
got
you,
like
would
$200
you
or
wanna head that up,
$300,
Beth? Would you feel comfortable heading that up?
Talking-
Being the person?
To the Londonderry Times people?
Or, yeah, just to,
Or-
you know, every, you know, yeah.
I don't know what's involved with getting something in the Londonderry Times, but I
Well,
guess if I
A
can
letter
find out.
to the editor is very simple.
Isn't
It's-
Deb
Oh,
our
okay.
contacted person?
Deb
Well,
is
where's
our,
our liaison?
Yes,
That's
that's
who
Deb.
she is. It's
Right,
Deb
that's what I
Hall.
mean, so I can, I'll figure it out, but yes, I will do that.
I can give you their phone numbers too.
No, I don't, I will do it in email, thank you. I would like it official. I just, no,
She's
I mean-
very, and she's very quick to get back to you and stuff
Okay.
and things, so, yeah, yeah.
no, I'll
That's
figure it out,
great.
but yeah,
Yeah.
So,
thanks, John.
what, you're gonna get this corrected and get that printed and
Yes, sir.
the brochures printed?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And so, how do we get those? How are you gonna do that?
I will mail them, email them to you, and if I'm printing them, I guess what I can do is I can, what is that organization that delivers to mailboxes?
Snail mail? You could appoint it, yeah.
I can mail you some.
The post office?
Oh! I got you some. I'll make sure you get them.
I just wanted to know for sure how.
You know what? I'll try to get that done this week and get that in the mail, because it'll take a couple of days to get to you.
I'll be
All right.
waiting. I just can't wait. I'll be looking at my mail every day.
Making sure.
Is it here
Make sure
yet?
you don't miss
Is
it.
the new phone book here? Is the new phone book here?
Okay.
What?
Is the new phone books are here, the phone
Oh.
books are here. Remember those days?
I do remember those ads.
Yeah.
Sheesh. What's that?
God, when I moved my dad in 2023, I was throwing out phone
Were
books.
you?
I'm
Wow.
like,
Wow.
I don't think I'm gonna need this in New Hampshire for Ohio, but like,
Wow.
there was a couple of things that you kept because they had maps and things.
Yeah.
Granted, they
Yeah.
weren't quite updated, but,
Yeah.
and I can reach out to my people.
Okay, great, great.
Actually, yeah.
Next on the agenda, well, I put Old Home Day planning. So we had spoken.
When is it?
About, it is August 16th.
Oh,
August 16th, yeah, I put it up there.
see, I never look up
I
there.
need to.
I gotta train myself to look
It's
back
okay.
at that header.
Our next event, Old Home Day, August
Okay.
16th. We had spoken last either last meeting or the meeting prior to, about the possibility of getting, a couple of tables together with some other groups that are, conservation, more like environmentally forward, groups in the town. And so it will be us, and so I've talked to, Kirsten about it, it will be us, garden club and conservation, and we will be able to get our tables together.
Solid
And
waste?
so- And solid waste, yeah, sorry, sewer and
Thank you.
solid waste,
Thank you.
that's
Thank
right,
you.
that's right. Yes, the four of us, so I just wanted to talk briefly about what we wanna bring, what kind of things that we wanna bring for Beautify Londonderry. Do we wanna go just as simple as have our flyers out and, distribute flyers? We will have, cause there will be the garden club there will be conservation, and there will be sewer and solid waste, which, I think we're leaning towards having some hands-on compost, information for people at our, in our area. So we could kind of we're gonna be almost all combined together, one after the other. But I think for Beautify Londonderry, I would say, getting this in, for having this information for people that they could donate, having the QR code right there, that they could donate right there if they wanted to. And maybe we go ahead and do the stickers, for people if they do donate. So have stickers ready for anybody who donates,
The
to
little
Beautify
round
Londonderry.
stickers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Now, what do they, what are they about? What does it say on them?
Well, when I had done
Like
these
that.
as a trial, a couple years ago, it was just the round sticker, and it had the logo there, and that one did have the 2023, but so that that's one possibility. We had talked about stickers for businesses that did like smaller levels, right, that they could stick on their windows. I don't know that Old Home Day is the right place to have those, because we're gonna have more it's more of a community members.
Well, then
might
we'd have to be touching money if they were
donating.
trying to do cash and stuff, so.
I think we would have all
If they could do
through
this,
just
yeah, okay.
all the QR code. I don't. I mean, I guess we
We should
we
be,
can
we
take
could be
cash, but I
prepared,
would-
no, because you're saying we don't really want to do cash, so.
Yes.
This, if somebody wanted to donate at that day,
Right.
then they would have to do it through this, and they
Yeah.
would be right there with us, or
Right.
whomever, and then we'd see that transaction go through them. We could give them a
Right.
sticker if we had them,
Right.
but it has to be like
Yeah.
paper trail.
I was wondering, what about something something like a refrigerator magnet that would be on there, and it might have like September and October to keep people's focus on,
Cleanup day.
Cleanup time.
Spring and fall.
it would be right there, that they
Yeah.
would be thinking, oh, there it is, Beautify Londonderry. When is it? Well, September and October would be looking. I mean, September. I mean, what are we doing, May now, normally?
May, yeah.
May,
But we could
yeah.
just do spring fall, and then
Yeah,
that
we
would be like
Could do that too.
covering.
And put an email address on it as well, so
Yeah.
that they would have someone they could, any questions.
I don't think they would be that expensive, I don't know.
I don't know what they are, but people give them out all the time, so.
But it would, if people would put it on their refrigerator, and every time they see it, it would remind them of Beautify Londonderry. And you, like you said,
Right.
spring and fall.
Yeah,
Good idea.
yeah, I like that.
The visual
Yeah,
reminders.
Deb had mentioned, she had mentioned like a ball cap, which I think is a decent idea. I don't know
Yeah,
how
that's-
much they cost to,
I was
have
thinking of that
made.
You
too.
could go, get them like logoed or whatever.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how expensive they are, but,
I've used like, not for imprint, but I've used, what's the one with the little octopus guy on it? I mean, I have done logo t-shirts and
Oh, I
things in
know
the past
exactly, yeah.
before.
mhm.
So I mean, I could look into finding out
Custom ink.
prices on like
Okay,
hats from
That would be
different, a
great.
few people.
that would be great.
One thing you might wanna check, because he's a Londonderry person, and we've used him for the shirts, is Larry
Yeah,
Martin.
yeah.
And that's what is it, Embroidery Creations, is that what it? He's right across
You are
from
right.
the post office in that, those buildings.
Oh, in those buildings,
yes,
I got something from him one time.
Cause he was the
They
track
did it,
coach
they
at Londonderry.
monogrammed something for me
Yes.
for a special,
Yeah.
like a gift.
And
we
they're
do.
great to work with.
And
We work with them for
Londonderry
running
people and
shirts.
everything.
Right, no.
Yeah, no, he's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, okay, so Beth, you're gonna look into the pricing for
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, you can reach out to him. Would you, on the hats, would you put like the Beautify Londonderry logo and then sponsor or something like that? Just for curiosity, like how many lines or, because when they're gonna ask you like how many letters, what sort of colors, because it's usually like when you're doing a T-shirt, they're asking you, is it on white, is it black, is it a light background, dark background, so
I don't know
without,
if you need any more than that, really, it tells you what it is.
right,
I know, we do, stuff with the soup kitchen in Derry,
Mm-hmm.
and they just came out with a thing, and they were honoring people who supported them. And so the last time we were there, they all came out and gave us a hat,
Oh, that's
So-
nice,
That is
yeah.
nice.
so, it'd be nice.
okay.
Do you think people would wear something with a flower on it? I'm just thinking of, you know, those football boys.
Yeah.
Should we maybe even look into something that's just the
Lettering.
lettering, just says
Londonderry.
Beautify Londonderry?
That would be cheaper, I
It would
think,
be.
than having a
Yeah.
custom
Yeah,
logo,
it
because
would
they're
be.
gonna have to make instead of just having letters, they're gonna have to make a special template just for that
That's a good
logo.
point.
Right.
But that way it could be, like, I noticed you had on the town of Londonderry established whatever year yesterday on that hat, and
Yeah.
I thought,
I bought that from the Historical Society when they were having a fundraiser,
Yeah,
but they were selling those for $25,
yeah, yeah,
and that's actually a nice hat. So,
Yeah.
Right.
for a baseball cap. So
well, let me, I'll reach out to him tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow during, it's like, and find out, because maybe that's something we could do if we had hats available at Old Home Days and
Yeah.
that people made a donation to see what their turnaround would be, how much it would cost for
right,
some number of them,
right,
and find a way to be able to raise money out of that. So
Yeah.
I will call them. I'll
Okay.
reach out to them tomorrow.
Are you talking about, like, say if someone made a reasonable donation at Old Home Days, we would give them a hat as a thank you.
I have a feeling you're going to find that the hats may be too expensive to just do that. You
But if
may-
they gave us $200 or $300, it might be worth it.
well, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
We have to just decide
Let me just see
on an amount.
what
Yeah.
it would be,
Okay.
because
okay,
then we could come up with something.
yeah,
If
I
we
think
don't,
you're
let
right
me
on
get
that.
the details first and see if it's
I
something
imagine
we
the
could.
football players wearing a flower hat.
My husband will not. He likes his hats. He would not wear that.
You
Do we
know,
have a color scheme? What is our, besides a fluorescent green, because that's for safety, right? Like, they would say, what color hat?
Right.
I
You
might
know?
say I would go with like a green
Like
forest
Forest
or
green,
light
you know,
green,
nape, something,
light
okay.
green.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it's, that's
yeah,
growing things.
Green, growing. Okay,
just
just,
sort of like this kind of green,
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
lighter.
yeah,
a
Yeah.
little lighter green.
yeah. I could
so
see most
not
of
this
them.
color, but
Not
it
that color.
clashes with too much stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll find out what, I'll see what the options are.
Okay. That's great.
Um,
Okay.
Going back to the original idea on stickers, one of the things maybe, again, I have no idea what the stickers would cost,
Yeah.
is maybe we could, if we're gonna have something like that, where for a donation of, you get a hat,
Right.
okay? Maybe we could just get stickers and give stickers to everybody that comes into the booth,
Yeah,
okay?
I like, yeah.
Because little kids, I think, particularly like stickers and things like that. So-
Yeah, if we go, so the ones that I had purchased before were large size, and so I think, you know, we can get small ones, and those wouldn't be too expensive,
Yeah,
so,
Again,
Yeah,
it would be
yeah.
a, you know, what are the costs, et cetera, but,
Yeah.
but that might be good. So we do a fundraiser, it would be a Beautify Londonderry fundraiser. Are we going to do any educational stuff in the Beautify Londonderry group, for example? I think one of the things that maybe hurt us on the Warren article was, I think a lot of people didn't know there were 5 signs in town. Welcome to Londonderry signs. They didn't, we didn't, I think I assumed, I don't know about everybody else, that we had a good enough name in town that if we asked for something, they would come.
Right.
And that's not what happened, so.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a huge tax impact either, it was
No,
just.
it was.
But
it was
you know
so
what?
minimal.
It was an easy thing to say no to.
It
When
is.
there was so
That's-
much else on the
that's-
ballot,
Exactly.
there was so much else on there, so,
Exactly.
yeah.
Taxes going up, they said, what can I
Yeah,
cut?
yeah.
So what I'm thinking is maybe we could do some desktop displays with the pictures of the signs, we have some of
Yeah.
those. And, just standing up there and maybe do a little education about, we're gonna be doing fundraising. And not only are we trying to sell hats, okay, and give away stickers, but we're educating about our cleanups, because I'm sure there are people. I know Shelby told me she had some lady that complained, because she said somebody came down my street and left blue bags in the front of my house.
Loaded.
She didn't know what the hell was going on, so.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
So maybe we could wear our vests and, we'll have our
Yeah.
blue bags there and we can show, what we do
Yeah.
and so, you're sort of shotgunning out here, but you have maybe a hat steal if that works out, free stickers for everybody, and an educational side where we're talking about, hey, we're Beautify Londonderry, we do these roadside cleanups, May and fall, and we do maybe a little sponsor road stuff, and meanwhile, we're sort of trolling to see if there are any big donors that come through
Right.
that we
Right.
can talk to, and we'll have copies of the letter and everything else.
Yeah.
I think we probably have a lot to say right there.
Yeah,
You know.
And if the hats are too expensive, maybe magnets are another option, because that visual reminder
Yeah.
it works.
yeah. Great. I think that's a good plan.
And then even, I know we're in
We
the
are doing
Londonderry
that.
Times for the date when they advertise for our cleanup,
We are
right?
live. Not
Yes.
live, but-
I don't know what that thing says, but even like the week before in the Londonderry Times, don't forget, we're gonna listen, when you see blue bags, this is us
Yeah,
in
that's great.
action. Do
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
those blue bags on the side of the road are your volunteers cleaning up our
Yeah.
town. Something to let them
To
see
remind
that
them what
again,
that is,
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
But they
Yeah.
couldn't be green bags.
Linden. Okay, I think that's great. So Beth is going to be looking into the pricing on the hats. I will look into the pricing, sizing for magnets and stickers. As far as like the wording and maybe layout of the education, stuff. Karen, do you feel comfortable taking that on? Is that too much, or?
I might be jumping ahead here. I was gonna stay
Okay.
here for a roundtable discussion, but I'm not available that day.
Okay, well, that's totally
Okay,
fine. Yeah, yeah,
okay.
that's totally fine. John, do you want to work together on that? I'm thinking, because we're going to be doing the composting anyway too. So maybe that'll actually be useful, that we can kind of lead into Beautify Londonderry into solid waste, and have that come
So
up.
what will the compost thing be comprised of? What are we actually doing?
So that's for sewer and solid waste. What do we call it now? Is it sewer and solid waste? Yes, that's sewer and solid waste subcommittee of the utilities committee. So Beautify Londonderry, we're not doing anything with that, but John and I are both on on
okay.
that committee.
So that's Len Wild?
No, that's a different guy. No, we basically flip roles. I chair sewer and solid waste, and Joy is secretary. okay?
Oh,
and
okay, so
we
you just changed.
Wait,
Yeah, so I was kind of like rolling it into, because we're all gonna be together, so I was just,
So,
yes.
we still have to work out
we,
what sewer and solid waste is gonna do, but
Yeah.
it'll be oriented to composting. It will probably have, really two parts to it. One will probably be, that we identified a service and we hopefully
Okay,
the guys
that's what I
can
was
come
looking for.
and then some do-it-yourself compost.
Okay, good,
So,
good.
so we'll be able to do a little education there and
Good.
show things that you can do, so,
yeah,
um,
good.
pretty basic.
All right, great. So we'll talk more about that at our next meeting, Old Home Day, and kind of nail down that information. What we'll do, I think, would be really good is if we had, just the chunk of the start of the next meeting for the Old Home Day planning and consolidate everything, and then we can have that planned out.
But you know what,
Um,
if you guys, because we might have to make some interim decisions, if Beth gets information on the hats and emails
Right.
it over to you, so you
Right.
guys can kind of look at the numbers on that.
Yeah.
Same thing with the little giveaway stickers and maybe look, also magnets.
Right.
If
Yeah,
you go
yeah.
to Larry, he may have a way on that too. If you're
Oh.
looking at the hats, look at it for the magnets too.
You think
Okay.
they would
He
make
might.
those? Okay,
Because he may have some connection or
He might
something.
have
Right.
connection.
sure.
Or he might be
Okay.
that trophy place up in,
Yeah,
Wilson.
Crown
That's right.
Trophy.
Yeah.
It could be, but I go to Larry first.
So we have to be a little careful, because I see the hats is something that we could sell or compliment or donate, donate $100
A
to the
certain
hat.
amount, yeah.
Magnets, I don't think you can do that with magnets.
No, I think those would be a
Would it be
freebie.
free?
Yeah, but if we're gonna do, you'd have to then compare the cost of the magnets versus the cost of
To
giving free
see what
stickers.
see what they
Right.
cost.
Because if it was like a $5 donation, I would consider that for a donation and receive
him a
a
magnet.
magnet. I wouldn't,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Okay.
I
We could
wouldn't,
do
But you
that.
know what, one of
Okay.
the issues you run into when you start to get $5, I can see people starting to open up their thing and we can't take cash.
Right.
oh, that's
We
right, that's
cannot
right,
take
that's
it.
right, that's right, that's
You
right. So,
can't
Right,
touch
it's
cash
only-
in any way.
Yeah, it's only the.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Jeez.
never mind then.
Yeah.
But the hats, those they could do.
Well, hats, you could even take orders.
Right.
Venmo, I don't do Venmo. Oh, do you have your check? No, I don't have a check. I'll tell you what, we'll take your order and then we'll follow up with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, and we can take.
And then we could send them this information and,
Can they do a
Whatever.
PayPal on hats? Could you do that?
I don't see
Yeah,
why you
yes.
couldn't,
You
but
can
they
do
would
it
have
any
to do it right there. Which,
Which is fine. We can have
Most
a
of
QR
the
code and-
other-
Yep.
the younger generation,
Yep. And you're right. When
as they live, everything is off Apple Pay or
Right.
Right,
Venmo or
Venmo.
PayPal.
And when I did this, I came up with PayPal, but there was an option to select Venmo, so
Yeah.
it would work either
Okay.
way. So that's great. Okay, really quickly, updates on Sponsor Road. I think, John, they've all gone out, correct?
No, Bosch is Wednesday of this week.
Oh,
and then-
Wednesday
And
this
then we're
week,
all
okay.
done,
Okay.
okay? And that'll be.
Wait, this is 5/7.
June.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
Oh,
They
right,
changed.
but they were rained out?
They
Yeah.
changed their date. So that's
So
Wednesday of this week,
June.
and then that's.
Okay.
June 18th. Awesome. Great. A sponsor spot, nothing there. The bag, you had said we've got 2 more there. And you already gave us the update that Kirsten is speaking with our new town manager. Excellent. Next on the agenda, public comment. We have no one here for public comment. And then finally, round table discussion. John Loker, anything?
Yeah, I was just thinking, it looks like there's a council meeting tonight.
Yes.
And maybe we need to change our date so Deb can be here. Cause she's gonna be tied up there and she probably can't come in here or doesn't have
Well,
enough
What,
time to.
what
I
process
think-
do we have to
I
go
think
through?
they base their choices on. I don't know how they base their choices on meeting times, but she is usually here for the
Because
bulk of the
we're an
meeting.
hour before that, so
Yeah.
this actually isn't terrible. But I mean, she could have gotten tied up in business too.
Oh, well, I don't know, or she's talking people before the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What I would say, John, my opinion is she's very accessible. So and she does read the notes, the minutes, because she sends me notes.
Yeah,
sometimes.
and she's with us. She likes what we do, and tied into the green team, sort
Yeah.
of. We're kind of brothers and sisters there.
yeah,
Seems so.
yeah. Karen.
Me, so this is my last meeting. I know, I'm sorry. It's
Oh,
already
no.
Okay.
However, if I can stay on in some capacity, I'm happy to be at the table for fall and spring cleanup and
Wonderful.
be there.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
also when the football team
yeah,
goes out,
yeah,
happy to do that.
yeah.
I mean, if that's
So
allowed.
being hands, absolutely,
Oh,
yes,
absolutely.
absolutely. And that's very valuable, so thank
Okay.
you, thank you
Okay,
for,
yeah.
yep.
There's
Yeah.
no health problem or anything
No,
like that?
no.
Okay.
No, I mean, in my family, yes, but not with me, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You know what, we can be sure to, when we have those events, that you get the dates, so that you can say, oh, I
Yeah.
can make that one, or I can't make that one.
Sure,
Put it
so
out.
will I remain on the email, so I'll see the meeting minutes, so I'll know when these things are happening, or will that change?
So, so officially,
I don't know how that works out, but you could always,
I mean,
Notify
you're
me
gonna
and
be
then I'll
on, until you're taken off the board, which I don't know how we go about doing that. I'll have to ask Cheerston.
Now that we're official.
Now that we're
board.
an official board, yeah, I'm not really sure how that works.
We just got your name on our business
I know,
cards.
sorry
and
to
no.
complicate things.
Kidding.
You know what, I think you have to check, I think you actually have to resign, and I forget
Okay.
how it's done.
Okay, okay.
But, because I hear them thanking people that leave boards at town council meetings.
Okay.
They'll say, thank you for your service. and all that
Okay, I didn't know if I could remain on as a,
stuff. You know,
The minutes
I know there's a guy that does the minutes, okay, in this meeting, and he could probably sneak you an occasional email that says, hey, we got events coming up, you might
Yeah.
wanna watch out for that one.
okay,
Wink, wink.
sure.
So-
Right, sure.
Why can't you stay on, but realizing it's only in a limited capacity?
So if you want to, so I'll have to look and see
What it involves.
where we are with our official membership for the board. Because you are an official
Yeah.
person. However, we were granted 2 slots for alternate members. And Beth is one, and we do not have another one.
Okay,
So if you want to, I believe, and I'll ask Kirsten about this and how we officially do this.
sure.
But if you still want to remain as an alternate member and be here when you can, is that what you're thinking? Not
More the events, so that probably.
more of the
wouldn't work.
events. Okay. Yeah.
So that probably wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
That's
of course, that doesn't mean that we don't, include you as soon as we know the dates.
Okay,
Man, this
great.
is
You could always
the
send
date
me-
we're gonna
I
do
can
it.
give you my home
And
Will this
email.
work for you?
Yes, give me your home, I don't know if I have it anymore, but I will need it, but,
Yeah.
and of course, you'll be responsible for your neighborhood to keep those roads clear.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Of course, of course.
That's your parting gift from
My
us.
parting gift. Sure. My parting
We'll,
gift,
we'll keep you
absolutely.
in the know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. John.
Thank you for coming
Oh, my-
on Saturday, by the way.
Oh, yes, of
Yeah.
course.
That was great. The only thing I have is supplies. Today's laundry day at the Mahon House. I did 4 loads of, the football team made everything filthy, okay?
Oh yeah. That means they worked hard. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So, I did 4 loads
Oh,
for the vests and then a load of gloves.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Wow.
But looking at the gloves, I don't know if you noticed, but particularly the thinner gloves, they were poking through. So
Oh, yeah.
I think I have to trash those.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
That was,
And the boys weren't crazy about those, because they were so tight on them,
Yeah.
and they only came to about here, so.
Oh really?
those did
Yeah,
work
the
out.
thinner ones, they wanted the
Oh,
heavier
yeah,
ones.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, and
Okay.
particularly if we end up with the setup here, We may have to start looking at ordering some supplies.
Yeah.
We're running a little light on vests, because now I have 8 at the library.
Okay.
And I'll need 8 to 10 here. So we'll probably be looking at some vests, definitely looking
Okay.
at some gloves. Pickers, I think we'll need a few, but not too bad.
Okay.
And then at some point in time, we're down to the last 8 or 10 T-shirts, if we're ever gonna do T-shirts again. You know, we can talk that one out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and, bags were fine. What was, there was something else. T-shirts. Gloves,
Bags.
bags, no, I think that's it.
That
I think, our signs are trash now.
signs.
Okay.
Okay.
So we should talk that one out.
Okay.
And see if if we wanna continue to do signs. You know, there are so many
I
other
think-
ways to get the word out now.
I think people do see the signs though. You know, we get at least a few people every year who say, "Oh, I noticed the sign was out," so I then looked to see when it was.
So we can, we basically have to update them. You know,
Okay.
we have to do new signs.
Yeah.
so,
Is it
Okay.
just from like wear and tear, weather?
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of them are original. I mean, they're certainly all predate any
Any
my
of us,
involvement in
yeah.
this, so it's gotta be
Yeah.
5 or 6 years
Yeah.
now.
A lot of the metal supports break.
I've already
Yeah.
replaced all the metal supports
Have you?
once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this would be the third go around.
The last signs we had, I like those, the color on them,
Yellow.
and
Yeah,
you
those
could
are
see
good.
them well. I don't think we need, I don't think we just need maybe 5 or 6 placed in the right place.
Yeah.
You don't need a whole bunch of them out
Yeah.
there.
I'd be honest with you, because half the ones we have some bad information on them. I
Right,
forget
the
what it
old
is.
ones.
Yeah.
So I've only been putting out like 6 or 8 at a whack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And mostly up and down Mammoth Road
Yeah.
here. So, you know, we can look at that and just
Okay.
talk that through,
Okay.
so.
Did we go through Minuteman signs to get those? Do you remember? That was a long time
I
ago.
don't, I'd have to look into the
Okay.
file. There was someone
I don't know what
Someone
the
I
signs are
used
like, but
that was very, very good,
Staples make signs.
but
And they were,
Page
right.
Staples
Yeah.
makes signs, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I'd have to check, it's not in this.
And you know what, Ron talked about somebody he had that made his political signs for him.
That's right. He did.
I got
Yeah.
the name from one
Yeah.
of our reps,
Okay.
and
Okay.
in my dealing with her, she was fantastic. She even came to the house
Okay.
and delivered them. So I was very pleased, and that was from one of the reps.
How about the vests? Do you know where we got the vests?
I think we got those from Larry
Larry.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
Martin.
Larry,
Yeah.
okay.
I did.
Is this Nashua Road for Wind Waste Innovations? Is that Nashua Road or is it really E? UE?
Wind Waste Innovations is 102,
102.
that's National
Oh
Road.
no, that's Nashua. Yep, that's.
I just didn't know if there was
Yeah.
really a
Yeah.
road
And the
called
sign
that.
has been fixed, right? It seems to me.
Yes, yeah.
I
it
saw
is.
That's a
that.
typo.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, Wind Waste is, Route 102 is also known as Nashua Road.
No, I knew that, but I didn't know if this spelling here with an E at the end was
Was
a
something
different
different.
road
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
a legit road,
Or
that's all.
Nash Wade.
God damn it.
That's all, I was just, I don't know every town in Londonderry.
Do you know?
Spell check.
But no, the spell check wouldn't know Nashua,
Yeah.
you know? No. Just asking, cause we need, so for the.
Yeah.
That's all.
Anything else, Beth?
Hmm?
ready?
I have nothing.
Okay.
No,
What was I gonna say? John, when you were talking, reminded me, I went to a professional development for teaching where they were talking about doing salamander crossings, and they have collapsible cones, which I wanna do, I wanna start doing salamander crossings, but what I really keyed in on was they have collapsible cones that they use for putting out. So I don't know if that's something that we want to think about using for some of the people who go out for those really
Dangerous
scary
areas.
areas, you know.
Oh. that might be an idea.
And you know, just making that available for those folks who are high
Like
range
busy, like
and
that
Pillsbury,
intersection.
you know, that crazy intersection.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So anyway, if we're, thinking about new purchasing stuff that we need to replenish, maybe we can look into that too.
I see there's a sign on Adams Road for turtle crossing,
Yeah.
turtle Xing
Yeah.
on
I
both
think
sides
there's
of the
one on
road.
South Road too.
Yeah.
There's a
there
turtle
is-
crossing.
there is
I
one.
I didn't notice how it was spelled though, but
Yeah.
Salamander.
So anyway, yeah, there are people that go out and, well, it's amphibians.
Yeah,
Because there's that, window of time where you get nightly
yeah,
migrations.
yeah, they do, yeah.
And so people go out and they're ambassadors basically. They help the
Salamanders
amphibians
get
cross the road.
Wow.
They
in which
do.
where?
They do.
Where is this located?
There are many
There's
different
other
areas that do
places.
this. There's a Keene is one of the
Wow.
places that
That's so
they do.
interesting.
Yeah, there's all kinds. So
Well,
we
that's-
could do
didn't know
this
they
here in
existed.
Londonderry. We
Yeah.
could. I was so I didn't know it existed either. It was so fun.
I think I've seen, didn't conservation put up some turtle crossing signs?
Yeah.
They do. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
there
do.
are some.
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
some of that.
But this is like when they gather people,
When
and
they're
it's a
like-
lot of school kids. They involve school kids and families, but they actually have, okay, the night is going to be the correct temperature,
Oh, wow.
the correct. It's in the rain. They move in the rain, so
Oh.
they have to go out in the rain,
Hmm.
and it's like
How big
starts
are
at
they?
6 and.
What about this?
They can be, they're different sizes. It depends on the species. But,
Species,
yeah. So anyway, they had collapsible cones, and I thought that would be
That
great.
would be
for-
actually really good though, because then if there was time, like you said, even with the high school boys or the football team going out,
Right.
whoever's in charge of them could have a few just to mark off, and they
Some
keep
Right.
bringing it up
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
so that people are paying attention to where they're where.
Definitely.
Besides-
It's always,
Yeah.
even with the older kids on the football team and stuff, it's always my number one concern that somebody's gonna get involved in an accident somewhere.
Right,
Yeah.
and then we
Yeah.
won't
So
be allowed
anything
to
with-
do this.
Yeah, anything we can do
Can
to
help.
increase safety
Yeah.
and all that stuff
Yeah.
is great, so.
And especially at those busy intersections
Yeah.
when people
Yeah.
clean up in the spring and the fall.
Okay, as long
All
as
right,
you brought in your wacky environmental idea,
Okay.
okay? Let me give you let me give you what I'm gonna present at the next,
Uh-oh.
solid waste
Uh-oh.
and sewer committee meeting. I clipped an article out of the Globe about, as an alternate to being buried or cremated, there is now a program to have your body recycled and turned into compost.
Yeah.
It's called
Wow. Oh.
green, they call it green,
Whatever they
Put
call
back
it.
on my garden. Is that what- wow.
But it must be general.
John turned into great looking tomatoes.
Oh, that's a little too close for.
Mm.
And that's cycling for me. Wow.
One of my classmates in college, I think, he had an apple orchard, a
Yeah.
small one.
Yeah.
And he was cremated and they spread the ashes in the apple
Right
orchard.
into the
That's
apple.
ash.
Right into
That's
the
like-
roots of the apple.
No, it's-
I do love that.
Like
I do
raw meat.
love that. I think it's.
Unless it's
I think-
for cremation and then they go into compost.
Yeah.
I could
No,
see
no,
that.
they showed a picture, this guy is standing there with grandma, and he's got like a big pot full of grandma, and he's taking it out to the garden.
I wanna know what kind of,
Hey,
I wanna know the
That's good
material now.
fertilizer.
It's kinda like.
love conservation
You know, I
management.
felt
Not
that-
created
I
or destroyed. All right.
All right.
All right.
Motion-
Really quick. Can I do really quick dates? So we usually do October. Our dates in October are the 4th. These are Saturdays in October. The 4th, the 11th, the 18th, 25th. The 11th is Columbus Day weekend, or Indigenous Peoples Day weekend. That's, the kids have that day off. I think there are some sports tournaments that sometimes happen that day. And then the sooner we get, the further on we get, the colder it gets.
I have
So-
the 13th as Columbus Day, is that what you have?
Well, the 11th though, that's Saturday.
That's
Saturday. Oh, okay, gotcha,
Sorry, that's
gotcha,
the
gotcha.
Saturday of that day,
Okay.
of that weekend.
I think we need to do a date
So
and
we
a
did
rain
the
date
11th
and
of
publish it,
A date and a rain date, and should we shoot for the 4th?
probably. Cause it's gonna start getting cooler.
Yes, it's gonna be.
Because it's gonna
I
start
would
getting
say
cooler.
yes, because,
Okay.
With the rain date the next weekend?
yeah, because you go too much later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids
Yep.
are just, they're they're
Yep.
full on into activities
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
Football games and leaf peeping.
all kinds of
and-
things, yeah.
And then a rain date of, would there be one, or a weather date
Right.
of?
I mean, rain date of 11th, I think we'll just say the next week.
And no, I think
What?
that needs to
With
be
the caveat that
published.
I'm
Right.
sure that I will have a soccer tournament that weekend, actually.
but what do you think this town needs as a way to change the mindset of the general population to stop littering?
I don't know if you can do that.
It's not just a Londonderry, right? I mean, it's not just a
No.
Right.
Londonderry
No.
thing.
It's just that-
I don't,
It's a mindset.
Do they no longer preach that in school? And I do mean, because I just remember, don't be a litter bug, and,
Right.
you know, and along with
Right.
Smokey the Bear, that was always, you were being taught this all the time,
right,
or
course.
hearing it all the time. I don't, of
right.
course, I'm not, I
You know
don't.
what, you're right, because, you remember
The Indian?
the Indian with its Quran, it is, I think that was a 60s thing, more than
Yeah.
anything else,
Yeah.
in terms of a lot of emphasis placed on that.
Maybe we need to think, just something to think about. How do we bring that back, at least in our schools,
Yeah.
to be able to, I don't know, like, show the young kids, this is what your town looks like,
Yeah.
you know?
There
To
was
high school
also
kids.
another one.
I think that when kids get suspended or they have to do detention or something after school, have it be we could work with the schools, just a thought, and I know I'm probably way out on that limb and I'm bending it, but like having them, if they're having to have a detention, like the Breakfast Club, instead of coming to school, you're gonna come and do trash pickup, because it needs to be more publicized than just twice, you know, we need to see more
Yeah.
in the community that, hey, we've got a real problem here.
I wonder
Right.
who sponsored those back then.
I think those were mostly government sponsored.
Yeah.
Another thing is the state of Vermont has a day in the
For
spring
everybody,
where
yeah.
every town is
Yeah.
encouraged to have
Yeah.
pickup. I saw a thing on television in Dover where I think they do it once a month. They had people come out for an hour
Mm-hmm.
and they showed maybe 30 people and they do it once a month, I think.
Yeah, and the other, can't say any, there's a lot of, on South Road, there's a lot of pull-offs where people are always hunting,
Yeah.
and you have to have a license to hunt and a fishing license, so maybe we need to approach the fishing, don't we have a fishing game club or something, but letting them know, by the way, these areas where people are off hunting is always a mess. What can you guys do to help us?
They used to be, years ago, they used to be the
Just-
cleanest people. Now it isn't that way
Well,
anymore.
and, you know, and unfortunately, when you see on South Road, which I've cleaned up,
Yep.
you see all these empty nip bottles.
Oh.
And you know it's a pull-off where people have been gathering for hunting or something. I'm not saying that they're the ones doing it, but it's just, coincidentally, you've got a whole, they're all too close together
Yeah.
in a certain pull-off area.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just feel like there's something missing, that we have so much trash in such a great little town. And
Yeah.
maybe we have to start back in the elementary levels and then keep bringing it up at the beginning of the school year with the school board and the schools to say, something, I don't know. Just some
Yeah,
way
I
of
think we kinda
educating,
take
because
it
all
for
we're doing
granted
now
now,
is
yeah.
just cleaning up everybody else's mess, but we need to get to try to help eliminate this mess that's getting to the root cause. Maybe it's not, I don't know.
I'm not so sure on the detention side of that.
Well, I'm
Okay.
just wishful thinking that make them do something.
No,
community
I
service,
understand, but
Yeah.
you know what, we gotta be a little careful, because you don't want that to look like punishment duty for all the
Right.
people that are out there with good intentions,
Mhm.
okay? Sort of like when there was a suggestion made at a town meeting about, why don't they have prisoners cleaning the roads anymore?
Oh, right.
That kind of
Yeah.
thing, you know?
And we don't want that.
We don't want that either.
Right.
So, but I like the the other thing about, you know, what can we do when we actually haven't done that, where we go into schools and talk about littering and that kind of
Yeah,
thing. That might be
yeah.
an interesting thing.
Yeah.
That might be an
Yeah.
interesting thing. I don't think little kids are necessarily the largest cause, but
Right.
No, but
But teach 'em young.
getting them
Yeah.
aware of it, because if
Sure.
they're not hearing it from anybody,
Right.
yeah,
Sure.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
just, back to school times,
Yeah.
when there's like a little assembly and,
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of the club in the high school that they volunteered? They were.
oh, they helped us on that first day.
What's the name of it though?
Green Council?
Green
Is that
Council.
what
The
it is?
Green
Something.
Count, yeah, it was
Yeah.
something like that.
I know there were three
Yeah.
young people that came
Right.
from there.
I did contact the advisor, and he's excited about possibility of working together, and so we're gonna connect again in September. So
Were you contacting for this committee or for solid waste?
it was probably for solid waste. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm
It's
too.
both, all of the above,
above.
all of the above.
C.
Yes, yeah.
Madam, motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And we are adjourned.